تفنگت را زمین بگذار، تفنگت را زمین بگذار، که من بیزارم از دیدار این خلوار ناهنجار. تفنگ دست تو یعنی زبان آتش و آهن، من اما پیش این اهریمنی ابزار بنیان کرد ندارم جز زبان دل، زبان دل.
Iran has emerged as the gross violator of human rights, #1 in the world in conducting executions. Iran has been recognized as an accomplice to the Syrian genocide and perpetrator of terrorist acts. It's recognized by the US State Department as the #1 state sponsor of terrorism. Iran is a persecutor of its own people, denying economic mobility to its citizens, and it's ranked among the top 10 in the Misery Index by Cato Institute, where reported 20% of the population lives below the poverty line, despite lifting of the sanctions and the flow of finance money into the country.
Again, I wanted to extend my gratitude and appreciation for the U.S. Congressman Cashidina.
I'm glad to be among you guys here, and it's a long presentation, so I'm just going to start. And you can hear me, I believe. Okay. The mainstream media keep telling us that there are two sides in Iran's politics, the hardliners and the moderates. Based on that assumption, the media keep insisting that we must help Iran democratize by supporting the moderates against the hardliners. What they imply is that the regime is divided, with each faction representing a fundamentally different set of values. But that is only a gross lie that we have been fed for the past 2 decades. Truth is, the Iranian regime is completely united when it comes to widespread corruption, international terrorism, and universal disregard of human rights and democratic values. As such, investing in the internal process of the Iranian regime, like its so-called elections, in hopes that those processes will gradually reform the regime and make it democratized, is absolutely unrealistic. The Iranian society is sick with oppression and terror, and it is a terminal illness. Unless the society receives intensive medical care, it is inevitably on the path of self-destruction. In the meantime, the regime will continue to foment sectarianism and export terrorism and war with little hindrance. The people are tamed, the regime has absolute control of the resources of the country and the media, and as a consequence, it can rather easily supply its radical allies in the region and elsewhere with the money that should go to the people of Iran and the well-being of the Iranian society. In other words, neither lifting of sanctions nor releasing of assets will help Iran democratize, because in the end, everything will be at the disposal of the oppressive and warmongering regime.
I have another gentleman, Faza'il, Azizan. He traveled 9 hours from Atlanta to be here. Faza'il is a known human rights activist and a TV host, very controversial, if I add. And hopefully today you'll stay positive and give us some positive feedback. Sure. Appreciate you coming here. Why don't you join me? And yep, 15 minutes.
My name is Azizan. I have been in the United States since 2009, and I'm very glad that at one point I'm very glad that I am now unhappy, and then the Secret Service of Iranian, what they call it, Wazarat Ettelaat or other secret agency, they don't follow me. And I'm living in peace. Nobody called me. It's like there's no CIA, there's no Homeland Security, whatever you like, you can speak. It's like a paradise for me. I didn't have this. You can talk whatever you like, and that's the so-called First Amendment. And I really, when I am exercising my freedom, because I was living in a dictatorship. I appreciate really how the system in America, and I'm very glad that I am among the people that all of them, they not only do not like the Islamic Republic of Iran, but also they try to change it too, as far as I understand. There is no reformist here. There is nobody here that promote the regime. That's a great point. And that's why I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm among the people. I get energy from all those here. And these voices are trying to be here. We as people, ordinary people, we do not want this current regime. We want regime change. And we want the policymakers in the United States hear these voices rather than the
We're talking about living in the past. You know what's past in Persia? Pesimte. The Islamic Republic is very past.
Ayatollah Khomeini's speech in 1980 stating, "We will teach the meaning of martyrdom to the Americans," is the start of suicide bombing for ideology. Prior to it, we had suicide bombings, but it never was for ideology. And it certainly was not to harm innocent people. It was always against power. Therefore, talking with people of Iran is different than how one would talk with the population that knows flying freely is a better option. Today's Iranians must be convinced to live freely is their
So if you ask me why the United States should care about human rights violations in Iran, the answer is very simple. The human rights violations in Iran and elsewhere are in fact a national security issue for the United States. Iran, the Islamic Republic of Iran, is using these active measures, the suppression of voices of criticism, to engage in active measures in the United States to misinform the public here, to take action that goes against our own sovereignty, against U.S. sovereignty. It engages in acts of aggression around the world that target global security, and U.S. has an interest and a stake in existing in a secure world. Iran is behind the Syria crisis that has led to proliferation of refugees around the world. Iran has been involved in acts of international terrorism that has targeted the United States.
I want to say I love you, and I really thank you. And I have this message from the prison and prisoners that what you do, it's really valuable for them, and it's going to change their life. It's so much hope and courage for them. Thank you, God.
Thanks.